You see these cows? They're not for eating. See, meat is more than a food. It's a machine. Many machines. Contraptions inspired by otherworldly beings. And with the power of flesh, we'll fabricate mechanical wonders the likes of which only a space worm could imagine. Join me as we make power from stomachs, resources from fats, and fuel from blood. This is the world of NEEPMeat. Welcome back to the madness that is this Modpack. Let's get the usual antics out of the way, mining the stone, gathering food. We'll skip all that boring stuff, because the first thing we have to do is craft a projector. And for that we need a book and rotten flesh. Being the mad scientists that we are, we'll need all the research we can get. And the projector is key. There we go. Raw asbestos. Well, I don't know what this is for, but we got an achievement, so we'll collect more of it. We'll just pick up some stuff along the way. Ooh, some really good stuff. Oh, thank God. Sanctuary. We're gonna borrow one of these, a couple of those. How you doing? Don't mind if I do. One day I will definitely have to come back to repay their kindness. What is that? We have a weird rock formation here. Verrucous stone? And what looks like a sore coming out from the top. Well, I haven't seen any of these around, so I'm assuming that this is rare. Given its close proximity to the village, I think we're going to build our base of operations here. Time to get cozy. We'll collect some of the sugar cane, make some paper, craft a book, and then merge it with the rotten flesh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a projector. Whoa. That is a lot of information. My God, where do we even begin? Let's go to bed. The first thing we have to do is find an egg. Or we can summon one. I'm not in the mood for exploration, so let's summon one. First, we're gonna have to cook some iron, and while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and build a little base. I got a lot of diorite, so let's use that. Alright, so since we're kind of the weird freak scientists, we're gonna live outside of the village because nobody wanted to live near us. This can only mean one thing. We're gonna live in a trailer. Now when it comes to building vehicles, I am the worst. Oh God, I hope I have enough blocks for this. Haha, well there it is. And right on time too. The sun is setting, and it looks like our iron is just about done. Alright, let's move the stuff inside. Ah, look at that. Good morning. It is time to get to work. So according to this guide projector, which is currently burning my retinas, we can summon one of these essential eggs with this, a receiver configuration. Plus, we'll need a reanimated heart, which we can get by vivisecting a zombie. To do that, we'll have to craft this tool. I give you the tissue operator. Just the tool we need to get the zombie heart. I wonder what would happen if we use this on a pig. Oh, well that didn't look pleasant. Got some time to kill before the sun sets again. Now where is my zombie? There you are. Be a good friend and stay still for me. Ah, there it is. One reanimated heart. Next we have to craft some polished metal, add some dirt to convert it into rusty metal. I'm just gonna borrow this. And for this next part, I'm going to turn the shader off because you are going to want to see this. We have our receiver configuration. We have our reanimated heart. Now it's time to make an appeal to the so-called divine entity. Drop the heart in the lava. And then, that thing pays you a little visit. This massive skyworm, which is about to drop us a little present. Thank you very much, kind sir. And there it is. Our integrator egg. A disgusting gift from heaven above. And it left us some contaminated rubble. We'll just toss it in the back. There. Alright, so we have what resembles a very disgusting looking meatball. But this is the key to it all. And to hatch this little guy, we're gonna need blood. Well, actually, we'll need a little more than that. I'll need a fluid drain, fluid pipes, and one redstone pump. It may not look like much, but with these simple things, we'll be able to delve into the horrors that will be our flesh factory. So this is how we'll do things. We'll go ahead and place the egg right here. And these rusty metal blocks aren't mandatory, I just like the way they look. We'll connect the egg to the fluid pipes. Drain down here, redstone pump there. And the cool thing about this redstone pump is that you don't actually need a torch or a lever or a button. All you have to do is toggle it on. Just make sure it's facing the right way. Sometimes the orientation of these blocks matter. So I could explain how this is going to work, or I could show you. Let's go find a volunteer. Alright, so we got this sheep. Little does he know that he's about to be sacrificed for a greater purpose. And then it's as simple as clicking them with the tissue operator, and with that, our egg now has 25% of the blood it needs to grow into a nice healthy boy. Or girl. You know what would make this channel healthy? If you liked and hyped the video, please, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, this one is the last. And with that, that should have given us 100% blood, which means, yes, the egg is pulsing, it's been adequately fed, and now all we have to do is wait. Oh, well that didn't take long. So, this guy is the integrator, and he is a unique looking thing. It's like a disgusting cross between a silverfish and a mosquito. So what does he do? Well, he doesn't do much, unless you give him his accessories, like this pedestal. Craft some display plates, and then with some brain, gold, and iron nuggets, craft yourself some data cables. Combine them together with iron, and now we have a pedestal. But what does it do? With this, we can enlighten items. We've converted regular wheat seeds into whisper wheat seeds. What do you think they're whispering? Like and subscribe. But we're not done yet. Combining a composter with some iron gives you this, a charnel compactor. And while it may not look like much, this rusty looking block is going to be very important in the future. It works just like a composter, but for meat. Throw in some raw beef, and then once it turns nice and gray, you can harvest it and get an integration fluid cartridge. That is a mouthful. But we won't worry about these just yet. Well, there it is, folks. Your starter kit to all things abysmal. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm gonna go ahead and hunt these squid. We'll convert the egg sacs into dye. And you don't have to do this part, purely cosmetic. But as we progress, I want to go for a cursed industrial vibe. And this guy right here, he definitely fits the motif. So I'm gonna put together a little area that does him justice. And done. Not bad. Alright, so now we have a couple things to take care of. For one, we're gonna have to build some pens. Simply put, we need more animals. There we go. And now you'll make a baby. Animals acquired. But, there's something about this setup. I think we can do better. It's time to mine some asbestos. This should be enough for now. We'll convert them into asbestos tiles, and then the tiles into corrugated asbestos. Alright, let's see what we can do. Ah, there we go. Much better. A nice industrial-grade barn for our industrial-grade cows. And if we're lucky, pretty soon this thing will be full of livestock. But now that we have the barn and the animals, we also need a means to feed them. Well, I guess we better build a farm. Alright, so our farmland is prepped and ready to go. The question is, what are we growing? Well, you got your basic run-of-the-mill wheat, and that's okay, I guess, but we could always try these whisper wheat seeds instead. Let's go ahead and enlighten a few more. So when planted, they look almost identical to the regular wheat seeds. They're just a little discolored, a little more red. Let's see what they look like when they're fully matured. When you look at them side by side, you can really see how much more ugly this one is. It's got some, like, red goo oozing from it. It drops whisper wheat, and with it we can craft whisper bread. I wonder if this has any interesting properties. Only one way to find out. What is happening to me? Oh, it's night vision. For what, 20-something seconds? A little more than 20 seconds? Night vision 2. Okay, I will yield. It's a little better than regular wheat, so we'll grow more of this stuff than the original. Reason being, this stuff isn't only good for just making bread. After breaking it down into whisper flour, we can combine it with copper to make a new type of metal, whisper brass, which is used in multiple crafting recipes for multiple machines. To do that, we gotta craft this block. This is a crusher, and it does just that. It crushes things. It's gonna grind our wheat into whisper flour. But as you can see by the indicator below, it's gonna need power. So let's make some motors. I told you we'd be using this thing. On top of that, we have to craft something called a bioelectric organ, which requires one of these weird fleshy heart items, a biomechanical component. And for that, we're gonna need even more of those cartridges. Thankfully, we have some meat lying around, with well more on the way. After smelting some copper, and crafting it into copper coils, and then get really lucky and find a zombie spawner, because you're gonna need a lot of rotten flesh in this pack. Ooh, another egg! We are lucky today. Wow, that was a really long staircase we had to make, but now I don't know where we are. Oh, closer than I thought. Combine the rotten flesh with all of those ingredients we have. This gives us a disgusting lump of flesh with wires coming out of it, a biomechanical component, which we can use to make our bioelectric organ. Don't forget to craft a copper stator. And now we can finally combine all of those items to make this, our beautiful motor. Neat looking block. The recipe was so generous that it actually gave us 2 extra. Now, like all motors, this thing is gonna need fuel to run. Pretty sure that's where this comes in. Transient Ichor. This is the fuel that makes the world go round. Let's go ahead and craft some more pipes. And this is how this is gonna work. So I'm pretty sure that the fuel only flows out from the sewer. Connect the pipe here. How do we want to run this? I want it to connect to the inside of our house. It looks a little iffy, but good enough for now. And we have power. Perfect. Which means this is running. And because this is finally running, we can throw in our whisper wheat, and in return, we get whisper powder. Now, I do feel kind of bad that we're burning through the fuel, letting it go to waste. This stuff does regenerate it, but we're burning it faster than it can make the stuff, so we're gonna have to put a stop to the flow. Thankfully, the mod makers made a stop valve. We have our stop valve. We'll put the last pipe here, and then to stop the flow, all we have to do is turn the valve. That should cut off the flow of Ichor into the motor. Let's go check. Look at that! The Ichor levels are maxed out again. Perfect. So now we have a controlled flow. So now that we have this whisper flower, what exactly do we do with it? Well, like I said before, we can convert it into whisper brass. To combine the copper and the whisper powder, we need to make an alloy kiln. But first, we have to get our hands on some clay. And thank God I didn't have to look far. We'll go ahead and combine the clay with our asbestos blocks. This gives you a refractory brick. Convert those into blocks, borrow your local village's blast furnace, combine it all together, and now we have an alloy kiln. It's like a furnace, but this one has a little chimney on top. Add the whisper powder and the copper, and now all we have to do is wait. While that's cooking up, let's take a look at the crusher one more time, because wheat's not the only thing we can crush. You see this raw beef? When you throw it in the crusher, it gets ground up into something new. The result is something called meat scraps. Same thing for pork chops and any other type of meat. Now, in this form, the meat scraps may not seem like much, but if you grind up enough meat and get at least 9 of them, you can merge them together to make a meat brick, which have a couple of uses. For one, you can toss it in a furnace and cook it, which in of itself isn't all that strange. It's basically a meatloaf. A pretty decent meatloaf which gives you a lot of hunger, which I can't demonstrate because I'm full. But its other utility is far more interesting. Ooh, our whisper brass is done. Let's take that out. When you put the meat brick in an alloy kiln and combine it with an iron ingot, the two are actually fused together. This forms one of the most important materials, meat steel. And unlike the cooked meat brick, meat steel isn't as tasty. Although it is used in tons of crafting recipes, and we're probably gonna have to make a lot of meat to make a lot of meat steel. That's right, we're gonna make meat machines. Let's not forget about our whispering brass ingot, which is finally done. Looks like a stick of butter. You remember when they used to call gold that? Anyways, this brass stuff, we're gonna use it for even more machines, so we'll want to make a few of these as well. Now that we have the power of these new materials, we can finally start upgrading our base. Starting with this primitive farm. There's nothing worse than having to harvest crops by hand. Takes too long. I think our time could be best suited elsewhere. So instead, we're going to craft a poop-shaped farmer to do it for us. The first thing we have to do is enlighten a zombie brain. Combine the brain with all the other junk we've made. This gets you a farming scudder. Place a chest down. Link your farming scudder to the interface by shift right-clicking the chest. And, well, you should see the farming scudder, but because the shader's broken... There we go. Much better. Look at him go, collecting all of our crops. That's his only purpose. And he fulfills it well. And once he's had his fill, he comes to the chest and deposits them inside. This is his one and only task, and he will fulfill it till the day he dies. So now we've automated farming. Check this out. Shader's on. He's gone, but he's not really gone. He's still there. It's just a visual glitch. You know what? While we're on the topic of farming, we have some potatoes. We may as well plant them too. Now, why do I care so much about measly potatoes? That's because you can actually enlighten them as well. This gives you a gland potato. Now, we'll get more into the gland potato later. I just wanted you to know that it existed. Everything about this farming setup is fine and dandy, but I think we can level it up even further. You see, I get quite winded running back and forth between the trailer and the farm. So what if we could just take all of this stuff and have it sent straight to the base? Introducing item pipes, a concept that most of us are all familiar with if you've even played one tech mod. It's going to move the items from point A to point B. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to actually use our new whispering brass to make them. Alright, so we have 40 of these pipes here. Very similar to the fluid pipes. You can join them, change their direction. They're very flexible. Now, how do I want to connect this to the base without making it look terrible? I'm gonna be honest. Any way I go about this is gonna look bad. Actually, maybe this'll work. We're gonna see if we can run it underground. Here's hoping this is the answer. Alright, so we're directly underneath the chest. I'll place the pipe. There we go. And I think this is the solution. As you can see, we don't have any items moving through the pipe yet. For that, we have to craft something called an ejector. And there it is, the ejector. Before we can use that, we have to deal with some pesky guests. This thing does 7 attack damage. Let's see if that's actually true. Don't really see it. Oh, there it is. Ah, there we go. Anyways, back to this other thing. Now, I'm not sure if the ejector actually has to come in contact with the chest, but just in case that's true, we'll set it up that way. So we'll place the ejector like so, and the item pipes, then all we have to do is run them straight into the trailer. And I think we're just gonna have enough. Oh no, we had some excess. Nice. Guess we'll put it here. Just make sure it's connected. There we go. Alright, so far so good, everything is connected, and now all we have to do is toggle it on. Oh, as you can see, it's moving, the pieces are moving, which means the items are moving. Haha, look at them go. Here they come, up the item pipe, and directly into our chest. Oh, that's so satisfying to watch. Perfect. Mission accomplished, folks. To be honest, I don't really like that there's a gaping hole in the side of our trailer here. Thankfully, we can make an encased item pipe. So all we have to do is take 4 sticks, put an item pipe in the middle, and you get an item pipe with a frame around it. Well, it just so happens that we can swap out this item pipe for the encased one, and then all we have to do is click it with the block of our choice, this case diorite, and now it blends in perfectly. The items are going in, and yes, the item count is climbing. You can also do the same thing for fluid pipes, which is exactly what I'm about to do. No more gaps. And closed. Perfect. It's such a small thing, but to me it makes a world of a difference. Let's go ahead and fence this off. Not that it's important or anything, but I just think it's going to look better. Nice little bow on top to complete our farm. Right now we are on an absolute roll, and it's time that we take it a step further. Let's hatch a second egg. Now we're in business. Okay, I need a volunteer. Actually, I need 4 volunteers. I guess they'll do as well. Boom! Alright, the egg is pulsing, which means we are in business. Twins. We'll go ahead and give it its own enlightened pedestal. So this one will be for basic run-of-the-mill enlightening. This one will automate. And to keep it true to our industrial aesthetic, let's go ahead and craft more of these rusty blocks. And with them, we'll make barrels. We'll put one here and one here. They're basically just cosmetic chests. We'll put an ejector here. And then for the second ejector, we're going to want to level this up into a filtered ejector. All you gotta do is add a brain. Let's put the filtered ejector right there. Now the reason we want the filtered ejector is because if we don't put a filter on this block, then as soon as an item gets on this pedestal, it's gonna travel to the chest before this guy puts some work into it. And we don't want that. We only want the finished product moving forward, hence the filter. I believe a demonstration is in order. Let's toggle these on. And this is before we apply the filter. So, we'll put the wheat seeds in here. They'll get enlightened into whisper wheat seeds, at least that's the idea, and then they'll end up in here. Let's see what happens. Here they go, they pass through, and now they're in the chest. They didn't even get enlightened. We were too slow to see it because that's just how fast it went down. Watch. See, they're not getting enlightened. This thing is just moving them forward. Well, that's why we have the filter option. You see this interface right here? We'll click on the redstone icon, and now we can apply an item filter. We'll put down the whisper wheat seeds, and now only this type of item will be allowed to pass through. Which means, when we add these into the barrel, now our little guy can work on them, enlighten them, and then they pass through, ending up in point B. Perfectly regulated. Now why would you need this? Well, say you want to do this in bulk. Well, imagine having to stand here every single time you wanted to enlighten an item, then you have to click the item to get it in your inventory. It's just time consuming. This thing does the whole process for you. So we'll get a lot of use out of that later. Now's about the time I acknowledge a huge problem. We're pretty good on copper. We're okay on gold. But this is all the iron I got. And it's not a lot. Thankfully, there is a whole section about getting more out of your ore. To maximize our ore production, the first thing we have to do is find an ender pearl. Once we have it, we'll throw it in the crusher and get pearl fragments. Unfortunately for us, it's raining, so it's probably gonna have to wait. If we wanted to, we could always go to the nether. I saw someone else do that. Yeah, we'll have to find a warp forest and hope we get lucky. All I gotta do is find some lava down here. Shouldn't be that hard. Well, there's one lava source. Need a lava pool, come on. What happened to the old days when lava was so abundant? Finding a pool of lava was a given, and now, look at this. Can you believe that I found a mine shaft before I found a lava pool? Thank God. Oh my goodness. Alright, we are set. Let's get out of here. Alright, where do we want to put this portal? I guess right here. I'm not trying to hear the portal noises like I hear the cow noises. Very annoying. And because we're rich, we're actually building the corners this time. Never do that. Usually replace them with wood or something. Alright, there's our portal frame. Here's hoping we spawn near a warped forest. Let's go. And this is not a warped forest. This is... what is this? An obsidian forest? Not good, folks. I think we're gonna have to make a nature compass. Or we may get lucky. The sun is setting, there's a chance an enderman could spawn. I'm all out of iron, but I can make a copper sword, so this should help us. Oh my god, it's dark. I know what can help us. Oh, I have just the thing. Let's go ahead and craft some whisper bread. Now we just have to run down the hunger and hopefully... there we go. And... I can't see jack. What happened to my night vision? They don't seem interested in spawning. So it's time for plan B. We'll go ahead and mine some emergency iron. I was looking for more iron when all of a sudden this music started playing. No idea where it's coming from, but it's freaking me out. Where is that coming from? We're gonna craft a run-of-the-mill compass. Then we're gonna take that same compass, surround it with saplings along with regular logs. This gives us a nature compass, and with this, hopefully, we can find the one biome we're looking for. Searching, it's searching. Only 716 blocks away, and we're off. Hopefully the path there is straightforward, but when it comes to the nether, it usually never is. Oh my god, this took forever. Where are the endermen at? I'm gonna kill a few, that way we never have to come back here again. That's right, I'm looking at you. Come on, work with me. Yes, we got one. Nice. I think we're gonna want to collect these for something later. Well, folks, we finally have our ender pearls, which means we can finally refine all of our ores. Is it just me or is a fog rolling in? Don't really know if I like the vibe of this, but oh well. Anyways, so we have our ender pearls. The next order of business is to get these things crushed. Let's dump them into the crusher. They're gonna get ground up, broken into bits, and now we have the crushed ender pearl. 3 little chunks, not bad. We'll want a few of these. Kill this zombie to collect some brains. Oh my god, that's too close. And a free backpack. Okay, not bad. We have 4 rough brains, just what we need. Make that 5 rough brains. Let's go ahead and put them in the metal barrel. And thanks to our enlightener, we're gonna auto-process these. Oh, it's not on. Oops. There we go. Now, what does any of this have to do with processing ore? With the brains, we'll combine it with the copper coil and a biomechanical component. This gives you a control unit. Next, we'll have to craft a new diamond pickaxe. Guess we wasted this one. You see these 5 ingredients in my hotbar? Throw them on the crafting table to make a drill chassis. This thing is going to be our forever pickaxe. Now alone, this thing is absolutely useless. For this to work, it needs compressed air, which means we have to craft a portable compressor. First, we'll craft a barrel, put together some meat steel. Once we combine them all together, we get this. A portable compressor. Look at that thing. I love the details that they added to these blocks. It's basically like a generator. All you have to do is burn fuel items and it's gonna constantly run. And now our drill is powered up. Plus we can take this with us and it's still burning. Now the only problem is that every time we want to use the drill, we have to place this down. It's obnoxious. Then we have to break it. And sometimes I can be very forgetful. So I think we're just gonna take this compressor and strap it onto one of these guys. I'm not joking. You can actually do this. Check this out. This is a compressor scudder. And wherever I go, he goes. Which means we have an engine that will actually follow us. Let's go ahead and give this guy some fuel. And now let's say I want to go all the way over here and start mining some stone. Usually I'd have to place the compressor down, but because he's right behind us, We have ourselves a fully operational drill so long as this guy has coal to burn. And just like wolves, they will teleport and follow you to the ends of the earth. It doesn't matter how far you get from them, this little guy will always catch up. And when you're done with him, you just shift, right-click, and he's back to being an inventory item. With these two tools, we've just upgraded our mining experience. We got ourselves a cool new backpack, a little bug buddy, this awesome drill, and beautiful blue skies. Let's go do some mining. Alright, this looks like a decent spot to get started. Let's give him some coal, and off we go. Oh, and we get the block back. So I started mining as much as I could. This thing was incredible. Alright, so we didn't come out with much, but we did get some stuff, so we're gonna go put it to use. Thank you, little buddy. Let's pick you up. Let's go. So if you take a look at my hotbar, you'll see that we have the ores, but now we need to process them. It's usually the case we come to the furnace. You drop your materials in, and then the furnace cooks it up for you. But not this time. Let's go ahead and make some machines. Up first, the mixer. First, we have to craft something called a fluid buffer, and here it is. One mixer. A simple machine, but essential for what we're about to do. Let me show you how it works. So we have a pipe here, stop valve there, and then the mixer will go on top. Just like that. I'm pretty sure that the motor has to go underneath the mixer. These are only fluid inputs on the side. Okay, so because these sides are fluid inputs, the ones with the arrows pointing into the hole, we're going to take this basic tank and attach it to the side. Don't forget to add plenty of water. It's finally time to break out the potatoes. Do you remember this gross gland potato that we made? We made it by enlightening a potato at the pedestal. Well, it just so happens that the gland potato can be used in a crafting recipe. And now we add the potatoes. As you can see, the water is flowing into the mixer because the potatoes are part of a compatible crafting recipe, and then from there, just let the fuel flow. This is going to get mixed together, making a new type of liquid. Now, I'm pretty sure you can't actually scoop it out. You gotta pump it out. So we have our redstone pump, a fluid drain. I'll toggle this on. And there it goes. Perfect. We have a little more than a bucket of Eldritch enzymes. What are Eldritch enzymes? It's this crunchy looking water. Kind of resembles Dr. Pepper or Coke. We're going to pour the enzymes into this, a rendering basin. Pour in your enzymes. Don't forget to craft this item. Slap it on the side of the rendering basin. This is called a fat collector. And now that we have our enzymes in the basin along with the fat collector, we're going to take our ores and dissolve them in the basin. As you can see, the enzymes are gone, and in return we have this dirty iron-rich fat. That's right, we are digesting our ores. And seeing as how we're already out of enzymes, we're gonna go ahead and make way more gland potatoes. I love automation. Alright, so the enzymes are being made in the mixer, they enter the fluid drain, and then we'll have the fluid drain pour it into the rendering basin through this pipe right here. Ah, there they are, perfect. I think this can work with ore blocks too. Yes, it does. Look at that. So we'll just pour all of this in here. The next step is to purify the fat. For this, we'll have to assemble something called a trommel. And once again, we have to go collect iron. Just a little bit longer and we'll be drowning in iron. Alright, finally. This glass tube, this is a trommel. And based off of the Modpack's continuity, I'm assuming that this is also a fluid port, as it would match the fluid port symbol on the mixer. We have the small trommel down here. The iron fat is going to get collected in the fat collector, pour down into the small trommel, and then the trommel will refine the fat iron into something cleaner that we can process into ingots. So we have 3 iron ore. Let's get that dissolved. And there we go. Dirty iron fat. Let's turn on the motor so that the trommel starts running. And as you can see, we have stuff being processed in there. Perfect. And now that the iron is just sitting in there, we need to extract it and convert it back into ingots. First, we have to craft a hydraulic press. And to make this pressing basin, we're gonna have to cook up some meat steel. I'm sorry, but these cows are so loud. They have to move to this side. All right, everybody out. Let's go. Anything to get you away from that wall. Alright, so we have our pressing basin. All we need now is the hydraulic press. An iron block, 2 ingots, 4 whispering brass, and 2 biomechanical components. Let's go test them out. Okay, so as things stand, we have a small trommel with our clean iron fats. All that's left to do is to take the iron fats, put them in this basin, and have them stamped back into ingots. Put the pressing basin here, connect these pipes. This is the output right here for the trommel, so we'll connect this to the pressing basin. And there you can see our clean iron-rich fat waiting to be stamped back into iron ingots. We're going to put the hydraulic press on top. Now, the hydraulic press doesn't run on fuel. It actually runs on water pressure. Essentially, we have to run water in here so that it pushes the stamper down, and then we have to suck the water back out so that the stamper retracts. Now, I think there are a number of ways you can go about this, but this is the way that works for me. I'm going to place this tank above the hydraulic press. You're going to want to add a little bit of water. First redstone pump here. This will suck the water. You can see how the pipe's connected to the hydraulic press. This pump is going to suck water out of this tank, put it into the press, causing it to stamp down onto the iron vat. So let's watch that now. There it goes. And we have one iron ingot as a result of that. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have the stamper down, we want to suck the water out of the hydraulic press. So we'll put this pump here. It's connected to the hydraulic press directly. We'll attach these pipes. That way the water can flow back into the tank. And all we have to do is set it on, and hopefully this will work. Let's see if the water will get sucked out. And there it goes. And with that, I think we just automated the system. All we have to do is collect the iron every time we want this to reset. So, there it is. Now you're probably wondering, what was the point of doing all this? All we did was melt down some iron ores. Couldn't we have just smelted them in the furnace? If we were to take this deep slate gold, just one of the ore blocks, and cook it in a furnace, you only get the one ingot. We're going to take the same deep slate gold ore, dump it into the rendering basin. It's going to dissolve into fat, then get processed into clean fat, then stamped. And instead of getting one gold ingot back, we get 2 gold ingots back. No, 3 gold ingots actually. Wow. I don't think that's going to be the case every single time. I think there is a small fail rate, but honestly, if you have a chance of getting more, why not go for it? See, we just got 2 from 1 ore block. Yeah, anyway, there it is. Ore processing. We could refine the ores even further. That would require the use of something called a ball mill. That and the trommel's big brother, the large trommel. But for our purposes, this'll do for now. I wonder if we can output to a chest. We'll take this ejector, add some item pipes, and then a chest. There. Now we have fully automated our ingot processing. Look at that. So while we have the ins and outs figured out, I think we can do better than this disgusting setup that we have here. This is the prototype after all. Now where do we want to move this? Plus we have all of these really cool NEEPMeat blocks that we can make. Let's go ahead and build a little factory. We got plenty of clay. God, that's a pretty sky. Look at those rays. All right, little buddy. It's time to mine asbestos. That's all the asbestos mined. Let's go. All right, you know what? We'll put our ore refinery right here, which means we gotta move this portal. Alright, so this is the brand new place. I kinda ended up making it look like a post office. I don't know why. I still like it. Aside from the lighting glitches, I think it's a fine place to store all of our ore processing stuff. So let's go ahead and move it inside and set it up. Alright, it's all gotta go. We're breaking this all down. Nothing in here. Empty. Good. Taking all the pipes with us. And we'll build it backwards. So we'll start with the chest, the hydraulic press here, the ejector, which will transfer the ingots right here between the two, and then we can put the trommel there. We'll connect the output to the pipe here, which is connected to the basin. Can't forget about the motor. This thing will not run without the motor. And then above the motor, we'll put our rendering basin and the fat collector. And in case you missed it, make sure your fat collector is right above this port right here with the yellow arrows. Otherwise, your fats aren't going to flow into the trommel. I think we can put our mixer right here. It takes power from the bottom, so we'll put the motor underneath. The drain right above it. And I don't want to always have to pour water into this thing, so instead we'll give it an infinite water source. And then the last and final thing, we'll put a chest right here. This is where we'll put our potatoes and the ejector that will put them into the mixer. Oh, I almost forgot. We need to set up the little pump system over here. There's probably better designs, but to be honest, for such an interesting mod, there's not a lot of coverage on it, so there weren't a lot of examples to go by. Now all we have to do is connect it to the transient Ichor, which is all the way over there. We'll just run it underground like last time. I hope these pumps don't cap out at a certain distance, because this is going to be the longest pipe system we've made yet. Okay, I think we're set. Let's go ahead and cover this up now. And hopefully this will work. Alright, so the valve is right here. Let's turn this on and see if we can make some enzymes. I already have some gland potatoes right here. They are going into the mixer, as you can see based off of the block animation. Let's turn this on and see what happens. So far, everything seems to be working. This is running, that motor's running. The potatoes are in the mixer, but the water's not going in. I think it does have to be a tank. Let's do it like this. We'll put a fluid tank. Actually running out of pipes. Let me borrow this. So to get the water to flow down, I have the fluid tank here, fluid pipe, and then another fluid pipe. And this should work. I think I have to pump this in. I think that's what it is. We'll borrow one more pipe. And... alright, water's flowing in. Perfect. And we have water in here. Better. Switch this on. And now we're making Eldritch enzymes, all according to plan. Somehow I forgot that we have to pump the enzymes into the basin. I don't know how I forgot that. We'll put a pump here. Borrow these 2 pipes. Better make it 3. Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. And that should work. Let's turn this on. Bam! Perfect. Enzymes are in the basin. I like what we got so far. We're going to have to make a rusty metal ladder because I think we need to do a little climbing. I think we can do it like this. That's so cool. Nice. Now we can dump the raw gold in there. Perfect. You know what? Let's process all of our gold. Alright, so the ore fat's being processed in the trommel. I think this thing needs a little more water. There we go. We'll toggle this on. And there it is. We've automated ore processing. Not a pretty process, but when you look at it, it works. So that's all that matters. Let's go ahead and process our iron now. Oh, it's just so satisfying to watch. Look at all those fats being cleaned up. Now we're getting our iron back. Finally, it's paying off. So now that that's set up, the only problem is that we're not enlightening potatoes fast enough. This thing can't keep up. I could utilize that one, which was the original plan. They were going to enlighten simultaneously, but I kind of like having this one just as a backup. This guy's our specialist for crafting recipes, but this guy, he's a factory worker. He's going to be working every single hour on the hour, and he needs a new partner. Let's go ahead and summon a third one. Lava in the middle, drop the heart in the lava, and then we'll get a visit from our favorite friend. Oh, he's coming in fast. You actually look nice with the shader on now. Neat. Glad we fixed that issue. And thank you very much. See you next time. Not you guys, I'm talking to the worm. Anyways, we have our egg. We'll put the pedestal here. Egg there. Double the integrators. Double the processing. Isn't this beautiful? Now we're processing double the potatoes. As you can see by our setups here, we're developing quite the system with our meat machines. We have crushers, we have pipelines running between buildings, and now we have all of this going on. And the only reason we've been able to manage all of it is thanks to this fluid valve. Without the fluid valve, without the ability to turn off the tap, we'd be wasting so much fuel, but just because we can save it doesn't mean we shouldn't make more. After all, had it not been for the valves, we would have put quite the strain on this little rock here. Our lifeblood for everything meat. But this is just the beginning. There are so many more things to craft, which means we're gonna have to make more Ichor. That's where this thing comes in. With a setup like this, we'll be able to make as much Ichor as we want. First, we have to process our iron, so let's just give this a minute. Alright, so I made a couple of iron trapdoors. Let's put this together. We'll go ahead and place these outside. Now, for this to work, you're gonna need a heat source. In this case, we'll use magma blocks, but you can also use furnaces, campfires. I think lava works too, I could be wrong. Next, make a couple of tanks. I'm gonna modify mine so they have little windows. I don't think you have to do this. And then you place them above your magma blocks. From there, you're gonna need water. So, I'm gonna connect some pipes to these things. This will run off to the side. And here I've added a fluid drain. It's going to enter here, flow through the pipes, and into the tanks. And as you can see, the water tanks are filling up. Now, because we have the magma blocks down there, you can barely see them in the corner. Naturally, this water is going to heat up. We're going to take our new blocks, place them above the glass tanks, and as you can see, the Ichor is being produced. I don't know the science behind it, but yeah, somehow this is converting water into the fuel we need. And to make things even better, if we add a tank, just like how steam rises, so does the fuel. Now it's entering the tank. Let's go ahead and connect this one as well. Now we're producing at double the rate, and as a result, we can actually connect this back to the interior of our trailer and hook it up to the engine, just like so. Once again, we have fuel in here. Now, the only downside is that this is a little expensive. The trade-off, it's not that great for the rate of return. I mean, look how slow that's climbing. But this is one of the ways to generate it. I just wanted to show you. Would I recommend it if you were later in the game? No. Would I recommend it if you want to power something small like one single crusher? Sure, why not? If you want serious Ichor generation, you gotta make a blood sapling. And for that, we'll need a crimson fungus. So once again, it's time to go on another expedition. This time we have to place our portal somewhere because we broke it. Guess we can put it here for now. There we go. Let's go. I forgot. We're in this terrible place. Oh, no, it's not far at all. Nice. This way. Ah, there it is. One crimson fungus. Don't mind if I do. We'll take a few, actually. Not really sure if the blood trees are trying to make drop saplings when you chop them down. Okay, we have 36 of these. That's got to be way more than enough. Actually, 37. Note to self, never go to the nether without gold armor. I completely forgot about the piglins, and they are not happy to see me. All right, everyone, watch this. With this crimson fungus, I'm going to place it on the pedestal, and this little guy, he's going to do his thing. Here we go. And there it is. A blood bubble sapling. And I think this counts as the part where we slowly start to corrupt this world with otherworldly things. Oh, you were watching and listening, weren't you? Now, I don't know how big these trees are. Don't know what kind of footprint they're going to make. And there it is. A cursed blood tree. It is just oozing and dripping with all of these blood bubble leaves. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to collect this stuff. Can't right-click it, so I guess we have to break it. And the result is a blood bubble. Alright, let's get all of the blood bubbles then. So now that we're getting the blood bubbles, we don't have to kill the animals anymore, at least for their blood, because this tree is just secreting it all over. Alright, I think we have enough blood bubbles for now. Seeing as how these saplings are going to play a very important role in our progress, I think it's safe to say that we should make a little orchard. Not too far from the house, of course. Definitely want to space them out because they grow to be pretty large, so I think, yeah, there should be enough space between them all. Not much of an orchard, but you get the idea. So now that we have the blood bubbles, we have a couple of options. We can combine them with a bucket to make this a blood bucket, or we can mix them in a mixer to get simple blood, which is probably what we're gonna do. So this is what this is gonna look like. We're gonna take a bucket of water, fill this basic tank here. Then we take the blood bubbles, put them in the mixer, make sure that this is on, and now let's give it some power. Something is wrong. For some reason, when I set the flow on, it doesn't work. Did we mess up the pipe somehow? Okay, so this setup is bugging out a little. For some reason, it probably has something to do with the pipes. I think we overextended ourselves with the pipe system. That little rock over there was having a hard time pumping the Ichor all the way to this machine, which is kind of weird because there were no problems pumping Ichor to this machine, and it's further. But anyways, I'm going to turn the tap back on. Usually you have to leave it off for like a minute or two, wait for the Ichor to accumulate, and then the machine runs. Alright, so we have the blood bubbles in there, the water, and now we are making some blood, which is being stored here in this glass tank. As you can see, we have about 6 buckets worth. Oh, 7 now. And then the process stops. So getting the blood was the first step, but we're going to have to mix it with something else. Now, the reason we wanted blood is because we have to combine it with meat, liquid meat, to make integration fluid. The only problem is that we're missing the meat, which we make from tissue slurry inside of a trommel. And tissue slurry is made from these guys. This means we're going to have to breed a ton of these cows. This is so gross. If only there was a way to go about this automatically. You're never going to believe this. Take 1 gland potato, surround it with some iron, and you get this. A feeding trough. When you add stuff like wheat and other garbage, that slop in there, that's animal feed. All I have to do is place the troughs inside of the pens, right here, and then you just add wheat. Eventually some cows will eat this, and then they'll make a baby cow. You see those little hearts? It means it worked. Although, adding wheat alone doesn't really give you that much animal feed. It gets kind of expensive. The best way to go about making animal feed is right here, once again, in the mixer. All you have to do is combine water, blood, and any type of wheat. Thankfully, we have a nice little stockpile of blood already. It's a little morbid, but I'm pretty sure there's protein in blood, and animals need their protein. I'll put this tank right here, that way we have a place to output the animal feed. Okay, Everything is in place. All we have to do is add the wheat. The blood's inside, the wheat's inside. This means the recipe is compatible, and now all we have to do is turn the tap on. We have everything being combined together, and there it is, that beautiful slop, animal feed. Look at that amount climb. That's a lot more value for your wheat than simply putting it in the trough over there. Now here's a little side note. I was having an issue with the pipeline, and I think it was because we were too far from the Ichor rock over there. Despite having the pipeline, the Ichor wasn't flowing to the setup in the building. I think there's a limit for how far it flows in a pipeline, so I added a tank so it could accumulate. After that, I added a pump next to the tank. That way, the pump could actually transport all of the stuff that accumulated in the tank behind it. The result was a working machine and lots of animal feed. Now that we have the slop, let's feed it to the cows, who are extra hungry because the slop I left last time is about halfway gone. I'm sorry for getting sidetracked so much. I know we're supposed to make tissue slurry, but I can't help but feel the need to optimize this a little more. As you can see, this thing is backed up. We have excess in the tank along with excess in the mixer. We're gonna need a place to store it all, so let's make more tanks. The thing about these tanks is that they don't stack. On top of that, you can't link them. Thankfully, we can change that by adding some extra copper. That way we can merge their inventories. This gives us a brand new block called the flex tank. And thank God, these blocks stack. But that's not what we care for. What we want is the ability to build ourselves a silo. I guess we can place this right here. Honestly, I wouldn't even call this a silo. It's a little small, but hey, what are you gonna do? It holds 64 buckets, which is just what we want to store all of that feed. Let's go ahead and scoop some of this up and see if we can actually dump it inside of our new storage system. And here we go. No, we can't. We're actually covered in goop. Disgusting. I guess we're gonna have to build another pipeline, like the others, buried underground. Oh, I really hope this works. And then this will connect just like that. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's see if this will actually carry over there. And it's moving. Yes, this stuff is definitely moving. 10 buckets of animal feed. Safe to say this was a success. All right, we have exactly 28 buckets of feed in this flex tank. The next step is to pump it into the troughs themselves, which are somewhere behind these walls. We'll just dig underneath all the noise, despite however annoying it may be. And there's trough number... No, it's not. Where's trough number 2? Right there. Perfect. Okay, let's get out of here. Ooh, there it is. Perfect. We have the pipe lined up. Let's put the pump right here and set this on. If it works, this amount will start dropping. And I guess it works. Let's go check the feeding troughs. I don't know about you, but that looks full to me. So I've thinned the cow population. As you can see, there are less than half of the cows that were there before. And they have plenty of feed in their troughs, so eventually they'll build back their numbers. We have tons of feed in here, so we don't have to worry about making more, at least for now. Which means I think we've automated meat production, which means we can make a ton of meat scraps. Unfortunately, we're all out of blood, a result of us getting sidetracked to automate animal breeding. Thankfully, it looks like our trees have taken quite a liking to the overworld, leaving us tons of these blood bubble leaves. If I were to make shears, would that actually take the fruit off without having to break the leaf? No, I actually have to break it. That's a shame. Blood bubbles in the mixer, water added, and as you can see, more blood in the tank. Which means it's time to make some tissue slurry. To do that, we have to make this. I give you the mincer. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is absolutely terrible for the cows. Essentially, adding that block in here is going to convert this barn into a slaughterhouse. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and prep this side of the barn for this so I can show you how it works. Not mandatory, but let's go ahead and prep some clay blocks, convert them into terracotta, and now that we have some terracotta, we're going to arrange it in a circle, place some dirt in the middle, and that creates this new decorative block. We have ourselves some dirty white tiles. Just the look oh my god, where'd you come from? The perfect floor for, well, pulverizing cows. I don't know, I just like the grimy look of it. It's definitely something you'd see in a butcher shop. Speaking of butchering, we better get at it because these cows are populating too quickly. And then let's finish it off with this. Oh, these look so cool. Let's turn them on. Oh, I love this. Alright, so we have ourselves some beautiful ceiling lights here. I love the vibe that they give off. Kind of a eerie backrooms vibe. Perfect for our slaughterhouse. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the same on this side. Oh, I placed them on the wrong row. Shoot. We're gonna need a way to funnel these cows to the mincer, so I'll add some wood here, make it look like a barn door, I guess. Okay, so the mincer will place right here. And the cows, they will come down this water belt, I guess, get stuck in the mincer, and then they'll be eviscerated. So we have 2 pump systems that we're going to do here. Let's go ahead and dig up some dirt. That way we have plenty of space to place the pipes. So this will pump out the tissue slurry, and this will be used to pump the Ichor into the mincer. That way it has power. So this pump is going to pump out tissue slurry, which is going to flow through this pipe and up to the surface of our slaughterhouse. Ah, there it is. This will come up like that, and then we got to make another trommel. We're going to place the trommel here, and our motor there. Alright, so the tissue slurry pipe is connected to the small trommel. The motor is connected to nothing, so no power yet. Nothing we can't remedy quickly. I'll put a valve here so I can shut it off whenever I want. We'll pump out the tissue slurry from the bottom, straight into this tank. Hopefully this works. Now all we have to do is give it power. I seriously think we're overstraining this pipe system. And it's working. These things are running. Nice. Okay, and then we'll wrap it up by putting a gate right here. And there goes my pressure plate. Note to self: restrain cows before breaking gate. Great, now we're caught in it. This is not how this was supposed to go. We have it all sorted out. Let's switch this on. You can barely see it. The mincer blades are running. Let's see if we can kill some cows. There we go, one by one. Perfect. And because there's so many of them, they just push themselves in. Let's turn the trommel on. And I don't see anything happening yet. For the trommel, it will not take any fluids, even if you have a pipe connected to it. If you want the slurry to go into the trommel, you have to have it connected via a tank. Just like this. Okay, enough waiting. Let's turn this machine on. Alright, let's see what we get when we process the slurry in the trommel. And the slurry is being processed, and this gives us meat. That's right, just regular meat. So we have slurry, we have meat. What do we do next? Well, the next step is simple. We have to make this integration fluid. And to do that, we're going to have to take all of this meat that we're making. You see, I have it stored here in this glass tank. We're going to take all of that meat and move it to our mixer. There, we're going to combine it with blood to make the integration fluid. We're going to go ahead and put a meat tank there, a blood bubble tank here, and then finally a tank to store the integration fluid. Now, like all mixing recipes, you need an item such as an integration cartridge to actually get the recipe to work. So once you add that, then you can start mixing. All we have to do is turn on the tap, and like that, we finally have fluid. Which means we can finally give this little rock a rest, because now it's time to make transient Ichor with these seeds here. These are the seeds for a power flower. They'll make us more fuel, but to craft them we need this block. It's called a PLC, or Programmable Logic Controller. This thing is complicated to make, and it's a little complicated to use, but thankfully, with plenty of meat, we should be in good shape. So, let's start by making some meat bricks, which up until now we've been making with meat scraps. But the problem with meat scraps is that, well, it's kind of expensive. You grind a steak and you only get 2 of them, it's a ripoff. But with the hydraulic press, we can actually stamp the liquid meat into meat bricks and get way more bang for our buck. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stamp the meat bricks down and make a ton of them, all for the cheap price of a few buckets of meat. As you can see, the process can be automated, which makes this even better, because now we can make as many as we want. Plus, we get to combine them with iron to make meat steel, which we're going to need for our computer. But first, the fabricator, a piece of technology that's starting to look a little too organic for my liking, like a pair of lungs in there. Thankfully, we don't have to use it, it's just a crafting ingredient for the PLC. And now that we have it, let's check it out. So we have a little guy here, he's floating, and it's kind of strange, but it gets even stranger. Once we actually click the pedestal, well, look at this. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. Something changed. You know what it is? We're not in our body anymore. We are actually inside of the little floater that just came out of this block. You can freely roam around with it. You can even fly. Don't know what the range is, but I wasn't going to push my luck. This thing is going to be used to assemble a ton of our new crafting recipes. But before we can assemble anything, we first have to craft some display plates. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you actually need these to use this, but it did help me figure out the system. You see, crafting here can be a little complicated. Look at this recipe. I mean, how are you supposed to read that? Well, you have a few options when crafting. First of all, you have to place the items on the plate. Once the items are placed down, then you have to take control of the little robot. You'll see that you have some options on the side. We're going to click Combine. Then you have to click the items on the tiles and, well, they combine together. If there's a compatible crafting recipe, then you shouldn't have any problem merging all of the objects. But you can do more than just combine items. You can also inject them. Inject them with what? Fluid, like the integration fluid we have. All you have to do is click a tank full of the stuff, click the inject button, and once you have that, you click the item, like these seeds here. It'll suck it up, inject it with the fluid, and from there we finally have our new item, these beautiful power flower seeds. Now that we have the power flower seeds, let's go ahead and find a place to plant them. Now there are a few options, but I'm trying to keep this local, so why not here next to our farm? Now, this plant took an instant liking to my bone meal. All of a sudden, sprouting out of the ground was this disgusting flesh lump. Honestly didn't know what to make of it at first. After studying it, I realized this plant could be very useful. I also noticed that on top of it there were these type of solar panels. So that had to mean something, right? Well, it did. It turns out that this thing can actually make Ichor with sunlight. But first we have to give it water. And to give it water, we're gonna have to chop down some of these blood bubble trees. Their logs can be crafted into planks, which we can use to craft something new. Another type of fluid port. One that's compatible with the growth. All we have to do. Alright, so I've added some slight modifications to the power flower. As you can see, we have some water feeding through a fluid drain, down into a redstone pump, and into the power flower fluid port. Now that the fluid port is connected to the controller, you can see that we've accumulated quite a bit of Ichor, 4 buckets worth. And essentially the way this works is the flower growth is larger, then it generates more power. So we want this thing to be, I don't know, pretty big. Maybe as big as that mountain over there. Okay, not that big, but you get the idea. But it can generate power not just from the sun. It can also generate power from food, meat, animal feed, or just food, I guess. This thing is carnivorous. We can feed it food like steaks and pork chops and slurry. All we have to do is pump it in. And I don't know how it's actually going to generate more power from that. Does it mean it's going to generate more Ichor? I don't know, but we'll find out. Okay, so we have a lot of blood. I had to rework the piping that was on the walls there. Let me address that now. So essentially what this system is it's a storage system for all of our liquids. 40 buckets worth in this flex tank. Same thing over here. And this is where we're going to store our surplus of blood. Because obviously, if we're going to be feeding the power flower over there, which you can't see, it's going to need a lot of animal feed, or just animals in general, to make slurry. So we need a lot of blood. And hopefully, if this works, we can accumulate 40 buckets worth in here for later use. All I have to do is pump it over. These pipes right here, they're filters. If I set it to water, only water will be able to pass through. If I set this one to blood, only blood, and so on. Which is the case for our purpose today. We'll set this one to blood, and this one will be set to water. And that's the cool thing I like about the vanilla filters. It doesn't show for blood, but I guess because water's a vanilla thing, it dyes it blue. So you know this one is water only. And now, if everything works, hopefully, all of this blood will end up in this tank, which I believe is routing to the wrong place. So let me change this pipe real quick. There we go. Yeah, we want our blood to stay here. This pipe, I didn't really address this one. This is going to connect the animal feed to our little silo over there. Let's give this a try. Pump on. It is entering the proper glass tank. Very good. It should pump the 2 buckets worth into that one. Here we go. And there it goes. It is in the proper tank. Perfect. All right, so now we can store our blood. Swap this around. That way we can extract it as needed. Okay, let's make a bunch of blood. And the amount over here is climbing. Perfect. You see, the goal is to streamline all of this. I'm not trying to run back and forth between these places to gather some animal feed here, some tissue slurry there. We want to make a nice, centralized powerhouse that will create all the food our power flower needs. Now, you can go about this however you want, but this is just the way I like to do things. If I can automate it, I will. I seem to have found where my extra blood was rerouted to. These guys have been drinking it. These disgusting vampire cows. Move! Now, the blood thing is temporary. I want to be able to make enough blood so that we can make enough feed to fill this silo. And once this thing is full, we'll be pulverizing a ton of cows. This is going to make us so much tissue slurry and in turn tons of meat, which we will once again repurpose to make even more animal feed. They will be eating themselves. Let's set this filter to animal feed. And then I think we can finalize the loop by doing this really messy setup right here. Oh, this is gonna look ugly, but here we go. Okay, the blood silo is connected. It is flowing blood into the mixer. We'll turn this on, and hopefully this will make animal feed in bulk. Let's give this a try. Alright, we are getting tons of animal feed so quickly. Let's see if we can get it in this tank now. There it goes. Into the tank. Perfect. Oh, thank God it worked. So now we got tons of blood, buckets worth, making tons of animal feed. You can see it passing through every second, and it's being stored here. It's getting a little busy in this room now. And I am by no means a minimalist. If anything, I'm a maximalist. I probably add more blocks than necessary, but I don't know, that's just how my brain works. This is what I was able to come up with. And our little blood bubble forest is expanding. Good. That's what I like to see. Okay, it's been a few minutes. We have 40 buckets worth of animal feed, which we can transfer over here at any time. But we're not going to do that just yet, because now we need to prepare another pipeline. And this one is going to complete the loop. Take these pipes here, and we will route them across the ceiling. This is going to transfer the final meat. Essentially, the meat has two paths to travel down. It can either be converted into meat bricks, or in its raw form, be transferred through this pipe back into the feed factory, where the meat will be converted into more animal feed, thus completing a beautiful cycle. Of course, things are looking a little crazy now with all the pipes that I'm adding, but that's life. I think this is the last pipeline we'll have to set up for now in a while. We'll have it connect into the back of the mixer, like that. Run this through the ground. Oh my God, this is gonna be annoying. And then of course, we have to add one more pump. Nice. And then a stop valve, because you know what, I love stop valves, and we like to control flows here. Let's just have the pipe above the ground. I don't want to have to set up a whole nother pipe system. I think this will make things easier if we do. Sure, it's an eyesore, but this is progress. There, that way gravity won't be a factor. Yeesh, this place is looking rough. You know what, and while we're at it, since we already have this, let's connect it to our system here, because we have just overloaded that rock over there. You know, this guy, he's been carrying the entire operation. Let's see if we can actually get this to work. Connect this, and it'll just flow downwards like that. In hindsight, we probably should have placed all of these things closer together. Pipes are kind of expensive to make. Alright, let's send the feed over to the silo. There it goes. It's accumulating right here, all according to plan. I think we're actually going to have to make this an actual silo now. Over time, we're just going to keep adding more tanks. I want as much animal feed as possible. It's a little silo. Let's see if we can get the meat to go to the other building now. Okay, cows, your time has come. Goodbye. Let's take this pump, turn it on. The meat is being sucked into the redstone pump, and now when I turn this valve, it should transfer to the building over there, where the meat will then be added into the mixer, ready to make more feed. And here we go. Goodbye. Oh, it has no destination. There we go. I didn't connect the pipe to the tank. That's my bad. I just want to see if the meat will enter the mixer once I add the wheat. If that's the case, then we'll be able to make infinite feed. And it worked. Look at that. And the result, more animal feed. Ooh, a lot of animal feed, actually. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we've successfully created a loop of making animal feed, feeding the animals, killing the animals to make more animal feed to feed them again. If that's confusing, I'm sorry, but that is the nature of cannibalism. Right, cows? These cows look extra hungry. Why don't we feed the poor souls? Eat up, my friends. Oh, that is a betrayal if I've ever seen one. That's insane. Oh, what a tragedy. We have the early makings of a power grid. Most of our machines have been powered by these small motors that are localized next to the machines that they power. But what if we were to have a different setup? I think it's time to move on from that. We need basically the meat equivalent of power lines. A central power station where all of the power is circulated throughout the entire region. We need power lines. And I think the heart of our power station will be right here next to the power flower. Speaking of hearts, we're gonna need to make one. On the topic of generating power, as you can see, this thing is all used up. So let's go ahead and feed it. Maybe it'll produce more. I wonder if we feed it through the fluid port. Let's see. Alright, here's one bucket of animal feed, and it's not eating it. Okay. Probably have to pump it in. Here we go. And it just took that immediately. Wow. Can't really tell if it made more. Oh, no, there it is. Definitely getting consumed. Let's turn this off. I can't really tell if the rate is going up or not. Maybe that's faster? Here we go. This is the heart machine. With this, we'll be able to optimize our Ichor and get way more power out of it than we would had we normally run it through a generator. So this thing provides a 150% efficiency increase compared to that of a regular motor. So this is going to basically be the beating heart of our civilization. Now, because that's the case, it only feels right that we actually make this out of the flesh wood that we've been growing. This is going to take Ichor from the bottom, and then it's going to make power on top. We're not generating power. Why aren't we generating power? I think this thing is too small. It can't keep up with the demands for the heart machine. Well, it's time to finally feed and grow this thing then. I wonder if there's a NEEPMeat way to get bone meal, because this is just such a waste. There is a way. We need assorted biological solids, and you get that by processing tissue slurry in the trommel. Wait a minute. This thing has been making us bone meal material, and it's just been spitting it out. What a waste. Let's collect that. First, we have to move this out of the way. And then we'll put the chest here. Hopefully that will spit the item into the chest, I hope. Oh, I got it. 16 of these, actually. Let's go get the bone meal. So I guess we just dump them in a crusher? Look at that. 23? Wait a minute. What are these numbers? So from, like, 18 of these, we got a stack of bone meal. Insane. Minimum 1, max 6. So with the bone meal, this flower is going to grow. There we go. Look at this. This is just what we wanted. Ah, this is so cool. I kind of want to get more bone meal, so let's see if we can encourage the cows to get themselves ground up. Come here. Hello. Ah, this is beautiful. That's it. No more. Okay, so because this growth is basically, well, grown, let's see if we can actually keep up with the demand of the heart now. And this thing is just plummeting. Oh my god. Did the heart generate any power at all? No. Bottomless pit. So before we set anything up, we want to get the most bang for our buck here. If you go to the controller and you right-click it, you can see 43 out of 160. Now, it's just a hunch, but I think 160 is the indication of how many blocks you can have on this thing before it stops producing. So let's see if we can max that out. Come on now. There you go. Next wave, if you will. One at a time, one at a time. I never get tired of this. And now we wait for the bone meal. Let's see how big we can grow this thing. Oh, it is definitely sprouting. We're at 70 of 160 with 22 photosynthetic organs. So I just learned that these are basically like solar panels, and this block has a different function from this block. So I mentioned that we could feed this flower. I'm talking about meats, slurry, animal feed, all that junk. Now, if we feed the flower, only these blocks, the ones that are pure roots, are going to produce power. These ones, they only photosynthesize sunlight. That's why they have the little panel on top to distinguish them. So there is a strategy for how we want to grow this. Do we want to be a solar power plant? Or do we want this to be a carnivorous plant consuming meat? That's why it even makes the distinction. We have 32 of the photosynthetic organs. Those are the ones creating power from light. And then everything else, that's why it makes the distinction here. We have 22 photosynthetic organs. These things right here, the ones with the panels, they're making power from the light. And then everything else, at least under 50 of these, they're going to be making power by consuming meat. So right now, it's we have more of the meat blocks than the light blocks. Now, if we want this to be a fully carnivorous plant, I'm going to put something to the test. I want to see if we can actually force this to be fully carnivorous. And I'm going to do that by making some slabs, because according to the guide, if they have air above it, then it becomes this type of block. So let's see. Ah, look at that. Sorry if I'm over-explaining, but the last thing, it only becomes this type of block if it has air above it and a root beneath it. So that's why these aren't like those. They have air above them, but if you look underneath, it's just dirt. They don't have the root. So let's say if we take the air away, then it becomes purely carnivorous. Look at that. So I think that's what we're going to do right now. But the cobblestone looks so ugly. Let's keep it purely blood-themed. There we go. That looks a little better in my opinion. And then you can break the blocks and the panels return. So you don't have to worry about losing them if you change your mind. At the end of the day, it all depends on what route you want to go on. In this instance, we're going to feed this plant because we have all the animal feed, so much for solar power. And then let's see if it actually stops producing since every panel has been covered. We'll pump this out. And yeah, Ichor production is at a total standstill. There's only 2 buckets worth, and it's not climbing because none of the panels are receiving light. Let's break one of these to see if it produces. There you go. As soon as this was exposed to sunlight, the Ichor production continued. And there you go. It stops completely. So we just discovered how this worked. I have yet to see anyone explain it like this. I hope you get some value out of it. Look, it even updates here. Now we have 0 photosynthetic organs, which means this thing is hungry. I wonder how we can grow this vertically. No! Stay away from the plants! They're valuable! Ah, thank God. That was a close one. Wow, that would have been bad. Okay, let's feed this thing. First thing I'm going to do is cut off this water supply here. This thing is not going to need water anymore. Let's go ahead and extract some slop from this flex tank here. Thank you very much for your donation. Next, we'll put our heart machine right here. Gotta make sure it's connected so that it can suck up all that delicious ichor. Now the question is, once this is actually generating power, how do we extract it from the heart machine? Well, you gotta make a vascular conduit, basically the veins of the heart, and there are a couple of ways to go about this. We're gonna use the PLC machine. To make a vascular conduit, we need a meat steel component combined with an iron ingot and an injection of some integration fluid. And there we go. 16 vascular conduits. Oh my. Alright, so now that we have the vascular conduits, we have a means of transferring power. Electrical power. I love the way they designed the texture for this. Look at that. Looks so red and gooey in the middle, and then out here it's like a disgusting leathery skin-like texture. Very organic. And then the last thing we want to do is take this basic motor and upgrade it. This gives us an advanced motor. The type of motor that you need to accept power. The downside is that it only accepts electricity. The upside is that it only accepts electricity because it's actually way better at generating power. So let's see here. Nothing's being generated yet. We have to actually feed the flower. So that's where this tank of animal feed comes in. Here we go. And it's eating up all of our feed. And the tank is running 486 EJ, whatever that stands for. And the larger the flower, the more power we get. So yeah, let's see how fast it's actually digesting this. Does it actually say? Oh no, it's right here. It's not digesting it that fast at all. Oh no, it's right there. You can see that barely ticking downwards. So I think the trade-off is pretty decent for the amount of animal feed that we're using. We get a lot of power, constant power at that. So I guess we now have a basic understanding of how this thing actually functions. Now, what can we actually power with this thing? Well, let's try something. We don't have a lot of these, so it's probably not going to reach, but I wanted to power the machine over there, the mixer. Okay, let's see if we can actually do this successfully. We're going to modernize. So, we will, let's see, where's the connection? So the motor is down there. We're going to break that. No more Ichor power. We have an advanced motor, which means we're going straight into vascular power. We have our vascular conduits. They will connect from the bottom. Perfect. And then we'll run it through the outside. And then this will just run along the side of the wall, as gross as it looks, and connect here. Oh my god, where'd you come from? We're gonna have to see if this mod has any weapons, because these enemies are getting stronger. Resistance 2, strength 2, speed, that's insane. At least we got a copper backpack with a golden apple. As I was saying, this is now connected. Just like that. Eesh, we're gonna have to do some serious cable management. Next, let's go ahead and break these pipes. We are going to recycle them for something else because they're no longer needed. Actually, that's kind of the case for these pipes too. I think I may be onto something here. Yeah, for our ore processing machine, which is right above us, we may as well use the new motors as well. Same thing, we'll run the conduit underground. This advanced motor will break this there, and then this one will be broken too, right there. And then from here, I don't think it really matters how they're connected. Just like that, I guess. There we go. It's powered the trommel and the mixer. Okay. Next, we'll connect the tank to the growth over there. That way it can eat all the animal feed it wants. Ooh, this one's gonna be kind of rough. How do I go about this? I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm beyond the point of trying to make it look good. And this better work. And this is it. Just like that. Wow, that is hard to look at. Let's go turn the pump on and see if it actually flows. And the number is dropping. That's a good sign. I think that means it's traveling. Great, I can't even get through here anymore. And yes, we have animal feed. This is generating 498 EJ. That can only mean one thing. Yes, our motors are running. They're not running much power, but that's nothing we can't remedy with another upgrade. And how much is being consumed here? That's a decent rate of consumption right there. Let's shut this off for now, save our power. So it's safe to say that we're on the right track. We're generating electricity, we're using these new conduits, we're powering this building now. The only problem now is that the energy's not all that optimized. For starters, we could make this a lot bigger, making more power for this heart machine. Second, this setup is just downright ugly. With all this bone meal at my disposal, we'll finally be able to max it out. I think this is big enough. Let's see where we're at. 160 of 160, not bad. Jeez, and it really shows. First thing we want to do, let's make some scaffolding. It's become increasingly clear that we're having a very hard time navigating through all this mess, so we need a way to get around easily. I think we can do that by making some scaffolding floors. This upper level will be dedicated to getting around, and then if we really have to work on some mechanic stuff, then we can descend down into the abyss. Okay, so it's not much, but it's definitely better than what we had before, which was, well, nothing. We have some scaffolding that wraps around almost the entirety of this growth. I didn't extend the scaffolding around back this way because I didn't see a need to. All the essential stuff is here. Our basic tank, we can access the pump, we can access the controller, and then over here on this side it wraps around too, and then I just put polished metal slabs for the floor, and now we can easily walk around this growth. Plus I made I guess you could call it a path. Not really a path, but you know what I mean. Easy access, that was the goal. I'm trying to make things seem a little more colder and more industrial, so the less green the better. That's the goal right now. I kind of want the land to look a little polluted, if you know what I'm saying. You know, I saw a comment, I don't remember where I saw it, but someone said that this could be like the prequel to the Reclamation mod pack. You know, the mod pack where everything is dead. Well, this is the mod pack. It's not canon, but it could be canon. This world and these machines are exactly how the Reclamation world was made. The death and decay being an unfortunate side effect of, well, messing with meat. Okay, this is what I have so far. You can probably see it better in the day. Good morning. Is it me or are things looking a little more desolate? What the heck is going on over there? The next upgrade for our power station. Power flowers alone aren't enough to satiate my need. To meet our goals, we have to make a device that mirrors our hunger for progress. Using some meat steel, we have to craft a new piece of equipment called an advanced tank. It's basically like a regular tank, but instead of holding 8 buckets, this one holds 16. Next, we're going to take the tank and surround it with biomechanical components. And this gives us this funny thing, a stomach. And that's not a play on words, this is an actual stomach. It digests food. This is going to go hand in hand with our heart machine, and to help it digest, we have to craft this. Now, even though the stomach digests things, it has a hard time doing so without one of these. We're going to put down a heart machine, a steel component, and 2 of these mechanical components. Let's make ourselves this brand new item. This is a Metabolizer. Don't let its small size deceive you. We better secure this area completely. All these enemies are trying to get inside, and I want to work through the nights. Stupid skeleton, get away. Oh my god. There we go. Better. As you can see, the stomach is secured. We are in a secure facility, scaffolding all around. We even have a means to access the upper level of the stomach. Just what we want to add our new addition, the Metabolizer. This Metabolizer is going to help the stomach digest a whole lot faster. And the faster it digests, the more power we get. Now, these things, both the plant and the stomach, they're very hungry, and there is no end to their appetite. For the sake of our sanity and our supplies, we're only going to use them on an as-needed basis. We have a pipeline here dedicated to moving animal feed directly into the flour. We're going to use the same pipeline and reroute some of the feed in this direction so that it can go into the tummy. Should be simple enough. And now it's connected. To reap the benefit of the stomach, we have to connect the Metabolizer to our vascular conduit. Just like so. And now it's linked to the system. All we have to do is feed it. And the more Metabolizers you add, the faster it digests, meaning more power. I'm not kidding. You could make this thing into a massive tower if you wanted to. I'm not sure if there's a limit, but right now it seems like the only cap to this is how much food you can actually feed it. Let's go switch it on and see what this can do. Alright, so we are pumping tons of food out. We don't have to worry about checking on that over there. We know that's working. This is what I want to see. I'm going to right-click it and see if it's actually eating. And it is eating. Wow, it's quite the appetite. And this is generating no power. Huh, that's strange. Maybe we have to give it a second. Strike that. This thing is generating 810. That's way more than before. And I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the stomach or if it was because we expanded the plant. This thing is still showing a 0. That's so weird. Our entire tank is empty. Okay, that is concerning. I think the stomach ate it all. Yeah, 36 buckets worth of stuff, and it's, is it even digesting? Can't really tell. Maybe if we break this and add it again. Oh wait, the diagram. We are missing whatever this block is. A machine computer. We can make that. First, we have to make a machine block. Why does everything cost so much iron? Okay, an iron block, 4 iron in the corner, and then some yellow dye on top. This gives us the fancy-looking machine block. Nice. Then we combine it with an enlightened brain and one of those jaw pieces. We have ourselves a machine controller. Let's go place it at the base of the brain, and hopefully it'll start digesting the food and generating some power, which hopefully it will reflect in the metabolizer. And the little green light comes on, and that is an interface. Oh my god, there's so much going on here. Don't even know where to begin. As for this, oh, this is ticking down, which means food's being digested. And this is generating power! Look at that. Let's connect this to our heart machine. I wonder what would happen if we move this closer. Maybe we could do it like this, because the heart is pretty important. Put the heart machine, I don't know, here? Let's see if any of the machines are running. Oh, they are running. 120 EJ. So the stomach is definitely working. Powering 3 engines already. Let's combine that with the slop that we have, see how that fares. Alright, so with the slop, that plant is digesting it, and now, still 120. Oh, granted it's not connected. It needs to be connected to Ichor. So then if it wants Ichor, let's connect it to the Ichor. There we go. Remember, 120 was the number before, and now, still 120? That's not right. Let's turn this on. Eat, eat, eat. Oh, that's what it is. Oops. There we go. I know for a fact this thing is generating power now. 810. There we go. The stomach is eating it all, no doubt. That's more like it. 390. 390, 390. 390 over here. Now, for the sake of what we have right now, I don't see any more reason to add another metabolizer. This thing is outputting 360. This one 810. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty satisfied with what we have right now. And the rate that it burns through the animal feed is pretty fair. I think we can make it faster than it can eat it. Let's try that. Alright, so we got a ton of animal feed. Let's pump this feed into the silo. On top of that, let's keep the meat flowing. Gotta make sure that we have enough to make more feed. Look at that, we're actually seeing some positive numbers here, which means we're making it faster than the stomach can eat it. I wonder if the stomach actually has a maximum capacity. 64. The stomach can't hold more than 64 buckets worth of feed. This thing is full, and our power is eternal. Although our power only lasts as long as we have meat supplying the feed machine, so we better start breeding more cows again. Now that we're feeding the cows and the stomach, I think it's safe to say we're spreading ourselves a little thin, but we're still able to keep up. Aside from having to turn some knobs, I think we just automated power. Like, actually automated it. These two things were game changers. So now that we have the means to power things, what exactly do we want to power? Why don't we take a break from the techie side and craft something fun, like making a meat gun staff. Alright, let's see what we're working with here. So, alone it's just a staff, or a base module, and there are melee attachments we can add. So far I'm seeing 2 possible attachments. The halberd and the shock staff. Ooh, that sounds interesting. But first we have to craft the proper workstation to make it. This is a tinker table, and with it we can modify all sorts of things, like the drill. Bet you didn't know we could modify the drill, did you? You can actually take the drill head off, and it just leaves you with a basic drill. Doesn't really do anything without the drill head. Let's just go ahead and put that back. I'm assuming that the meat gun staff is the same, and wouldn't you know it, yes it is. There's 2 input slots, which means we have a couple of modifier options. Let's start by making the tip of the shock staff. This is why we need it. Look at what I have to deal with. Alright, this is a simple one. We'll combine this meat steel component with these 3 bioelectric organs. And then all we have to do now is inject it with transient Ichor. I'll pour that in this glass tank here. click inject, and then click the component. That leaves us with this, a shock staff. Ooh, let's go apply this. Alright, so we'll just put this here in the staff base. That is so cool. Look at that. So does this have power? Energy 0 when the sun is rising. This is so cool. Look how it rotates. Oh, I can't wait to try this later. Ammo type energy. Oh wait, we can make a battery. You got the small battery, redstone block, and some meat steel. The medium battery, that's meat steel combined with one of these, some Ichor, and what is that? Pink drink? Okay. Don't see a large battery. Well, let's go for the small for now. Alright, so that was some redstone combined with a meat steel ingot. I'm assuming we equip it in here. No? Holds 12 units. How do we use this then? Oh, wait, no! You just right-click it. It says energy 12. You know what? I wonder if it stacks. Let's make a second battery. No, it doesn't, but that thing shoots lightning balls. Oh my god. Let's go find an animal to test this on. Ah, the humble cow, the star of this video. Just stay still. That's it? Only 2 hearts? Base attack damage, 8. So there's 2 attacks, the melee and then the one that shoots projectiles. So let's see how much the melee does. Well, you're about to die, I'll leave you alone. Okay, this is the melee. Ooh, the melee's good! Although that one uses 2 energy instead of 1. Can this at least one-shot a chicken? Interesting. This is kind of expensive, especially for the damage that it deals. Not much, and a whole block of redstone just for 2 hearts. What if I hold down the attack? No. Okay, well, it was worth a try. Up next is the halberd, which calls for 3 diamonds. Wow. I don't think we have diamonds to throw away like that, so we'll skip that one. Shame we only have 2 diamonds. I think it's time we go get some more. I'm not gonna lie. After all that technical monstrosity stuff that we've been working on, I did kind of miss basic mining. This whole time it seems like I've been choking for resources. Here we go. The perfect chance to test this weapon. Oh, that actually does so much more damage to mobs! Okay, maybe this was worth it. It's a shame the batteries are so expensive. We'll have to get a better weapon eventually. Alright, let's just mine this diamond and get out of here. We are definitely not going down there. No thank you. So after my little mining expedition, we do have enough diamonds to actually make the halberd. But it was annoying having to get all these ores, and it'd be a shame to waste these diamonds on such a vanity. Why don't we invest them on something a little more useful? What do you guys know about fracking? And no, it's not a middle school substitution for the F word. It's an actual process where they pump water into the ground to force resources up to the surface. It's mostly used for oil. Well, with the Charnel pump, we can do just that. And if we play our cards right, we can access all of that sweet, unseen ore. But first, there's a machine we have to make. This is called the large compressor. This is going to be the largest machine we've made yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the large compressor. Is that or is that not an impressive machine? It's kind of like our little buddy here. It makes compressed air, but instead of sending it to our drill, it's going to make us a compressed air bucket. But before we can use it, there are a couple of prerequisites that we have to meet. First, we have to make another one of these computers. On top of that, you have to make a motor port, otherwise it won't have power. Once you have these 2 main components, you're ready to go. Let's go find a spot for this. Oh god, my FPS is dropping because of those stupid cows. First, place the block. This is where it's going to accept the power. Right here is fine. Now, you don't have to do it in any specific order as long as you have your motor port placed right next to the compressor. Next, we'll take the advanced motor, just pop it on top, and then you can connect it. From there, and this is where it gets a little weird. It caught me off guard when I was experimenting. Do not place your machine controller directly next to the machine. Otherwise, this happens. That's a machine worm. That just goes to show you that the inside of these machines, they're actually flesh. They are alive. And this little guy, he was woken up by the jolt of electricity coursing through the compressor. No, if you want the computer to stay dormant, you have to have a buffer, just a regular machine block. There you go. Now we're online. Here we can see all the stats for the machine. Maybe we can actually get away with using it like this. After that, getting the compressed air is pretty straightforward. This is where the air is coming out of, so we'll add a pump right here, a basic tank, and then we just suck the air out. And as you can see, compressed air. Simple as that. So I hope you'll find a lot of use out of this. Once you have a bucket's worth, all you have to do is scoop it up. There we go. 1 bucket of compressed air. So now that we have the means to make compressed air, let's move on to actually making the machine we're going to use. It's called the Charnel pump, and it's kind of expensive to make. 3 meat steel blocks, a motorized breaker which requires a diamond pick, a regular hydraulic press, and a divine organ. Basically an enlightened biomechanical component. We have our 3 blocks right here. Let's make this divine organ, shall we? What's the problem? You have plenty of data. Don't tell me this isn't going to work. 10 gigabytes of data? Okay. This is new. This one only goes up to 8. Well, after a good night's sleep, I discovered the terrible truth of what we have to do next. And, well, it's not any more unethical than what we've already done. You see this cow? We're going to have to implant the cow with what's called this. A divine chrysalis, which we can get by vivisecting an integrator egg. So once again, we're gonna have to summon the sky worm, and to be honest, I didn't think we'd have to do this again. Thankfully, I have some backup lava right here, so I'm just gonna scoop that up, and let's build the summoning thing somewhere, I guess right here works. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rusty blocks, just in case you forgot. Then you pour the lava bucket inside. And of course, nothing entices a skyworm more than a reanimated heart straight from a zombie's torso. So, throw it in, and now we wait. Shouldn't be long. Ah, there he is. And I will never get over how disgusting this looks, but you know what? Ugly sights are a small price to pay. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have ourselves the integrator egg. I have the very first tool we've crafted, the tissue operator. All we have to do is vivisect the integrator egg, and we should be golden. Let's give it a try. And there it is, the divine chrysalis, with the item description that basically says it all. Something tells you that surgically implanting this into a cow would be a really good idea. Well, I have my doubts about that. Let's prepare for our surgery. One of the first items we have to craft for this procedure is a surgery table. For this, you'll need a meat steel ingot, a biomechanical component, a control unit, and a meat steel component. Let's try to assemble this quickly because something about the cows moving in unison just agitates me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You need an iron block. Alright, we have our iron block in hand, and we should be ready to go. Alright, so we'll manufacture, implant, and I don't think the order matters. And now all we have to do is combine them. Here we go. I think combining the items is probably my favorite thing about this pack. So satisfying, I don't know what it is. There it is! Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a 100% sterile surgery platform. Well, I don't know about the sterile part. There's, given the fleshy intrusion, I really doubt if this is clean to do surgery. Next, we'll need something called an implanter. Let's actually place it somewhere where you can see it better. I think it'll contrast better against the white. There it is. Combined with the delicate and precise nature of a neurosurgeon, this implanter is what we're gonna use to finally modify a cow. We can even use it to modify ourselves, but I don't really know if I'm into that all that much. So from what I understand, these two have to be about that close to each other. If we click the implanter, you'll see that we are now inside of the machine. Somehow our consciousness has been projected into the arm, which we can control. We can raise it, lower it, swivel it around. You'll also notice that it says no implant. Well, if you look to the top right, you will see my inventory, which allows me to access the divine chrysalis. All I have to do is drag it into the center box. Now it says no entity. This is because we have to apply our patient onto the surgery table. All we have to do is grab our lucky volunteer from the slaughterhouse, and we should be good to go. Now, I'm of the opinion that injecting cows with otherworldly entities is a very bad idea, and I have no doubt that what will follow once we inject said cow with said entity, something bad is gonna happen. Well, it's not an opinion, it's more of a fact. Yeah, I looked it up, and I'm not gonna tell you what's gonna happen when I do put that in the cow, but you'll see. Anyways, knowing what I know, it would be foolish to do the surgery here. For reasons which I'll disclose at a later time, I think it's best if we take the surgery far, far away. I don't know how far, but far enough to the point where I don't feel like my stuff is in danger. But I don't really feel like running, and covering this distance in hardcore mode, given all the progress we've made, is a little risky. Thankfully, NEEPMeat once again provides a solution to my predicament. We have to craft a device known as an air truck, and once we have this, we'll be golden. It's a vehicle that allows you to cruise the skies with little to no concern for fuel. Plus, we can even take a passenger, that being our cow, so it's ideal for this, situation. Now, usually I'd say that this was an expensive recipe, but I think we're in a good spot to afford this. We have plenty of meat steel, or at least I should say we have plenty of meat bricks to make into meat steel. On top of that, we'll have to craft a minecart, one regular iron block, and of course the most unique aspect of this recipe, 4 of these engines, which thank God they stack. Combined with a single glass block, with these items we'll be able to craft a vehicle worthy of the skies. Let's go ahead and combine all of these items in no specific order. And with this, we finally have it. Our vehicle of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the air truck. Isn't it amazing? Look at this thing. Oh, this is a wonderful looking vehicle. Look, it's even got a seat in the back for a passenger. And all we have to do is just press the space bar and that's it, we're set. You don't have to fuel it up, you don't have to give it a battery. This thing runs on its own, out of sheer willpower. Now, how do we get back down? Because if I press shift, it sends me to the roof, and I don't really like that. Let's land it right here, and to descend, it's actually backslash. Perfect. Alright, so we have the perfect means of getting far, far away from our area. That way we can perform our surgery safely with little to no distraction or concern for the destruction of our lovely trailer, our barn, and our little farm over there. Seriously though, just look at this thing. You'd never be able to tell that this was made out of flesh and meat and tendons and sinews. It's a full-fledged vehicle. Honestly, that makes sense why there's no battery or fuel. This thing is probably run by like some poor bird trapped inside or something. I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but yeah, let's see if we can get a cow in that little seat right there. Alright, I'm going to need 1 volunteer and only 1. Let's see who the lucky cow is. You seem pretty interested, no? Alright, we'll have to do this the hard way. You gotta be kidding me. These cows are so difficult to work with, that's why I feel no remorse for them. Come on, 1 cow. Alright, I wanted 1, but I guess 2 will do. Go AFK for 5 minutes and the cows are gone. Alright, I guess it's gonna have to be you, emo cow. Now, I'm assuming this works like a minecart or a boat. All you have to do is just touch the thing, and there you go, you're inside. In the driver's seat. That is not what I wanted. I wonder if it matters. There we go, now that's more like it. Okay, so I will just put you... yeah, right here. I can't have you dying on me, you understand? Alright, we have just about everything we need. All we're missing now are some safety precautions. Let's go ahead and smelt some sand into glass. Okay, I'm a little nervous, but I think we're set. And then the last thing we'll need is a bow. Well, my friends, it is the morning of. Let's collect our implanter. And then I believe we'll need our PLC for this as well. Please tell me the cow's still there. Please, 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 please. Thank God. Let's get out of here. This looks amazing. Now, where do we want to do this? I say... just around the corner of this mountain. Yeah, that should be a good spot. Right here by the river. And now we descend. Backslash. Okay. We'll just have to figure out a way how to get the cow out. So here's what we're gonna do. I'll put the implanter here. What the? Stupid cow. Place down the surgery platform. And then from there, we're gonna want to build a box. A glass box. Doesn't have to be glass, but I'm gonna make it out of glass so that you can see what we're about to do. This is something you'll definitely not want to miss. You know what? We may need some fence posts. Okay, now to get the cow out. Just get in there. Come on. Nope, no. Oh, I should have brought a lead. Onto the surgery platform. There. Thank you. Alright, we'll place our PLC. And I'm not entirely sure if this is how you do it, but I think this can work. We'll put the Divine Chrysalis in here. And now, the time has come. Break a little glass hole right there, because we're gonna need a means of doing what we're about to do. Okay, so we are inside the PLC. Little eyeball. We're going to click Manufacture. Implant. Then you select the chest with the chrysalis. That's one. And then we go inside the box. And you click the platform that says cow. And now... and now we wait. Oh my god. And there it is. The bovine horror. For some reason you can't see it, but it can see us. And it is not happy. Oh my god. Don't know why he phased on top of the fences. He wasn't supposed to do that. Anyways, we have to kill this thing to get something new. Right now this guy should be melting our face off, but he's trapped inside of his case, so... Uh-oh. We want to be as quick as possible about this before he realizes he can probably break out of there. And... one more shot. No, this is the last one. Oh, thank God. Okay, so now that the bovine horror is dead, simple enough by the way, pat ourselves on the back for that. He dropped something for us. This is an advanced integrator egg. Let's go ahead and pick that up. And now that we have this, let's go home. Oh my god, I really love this thing. It's so fun to fly. And we are coming in on the compound. Guess we can land it on the roof. Perfect. Nice. We'll just come back for that later. Anyways, this advanced integrator is kind of a big deal, and I know just the place to put it. Alright friends, what you're about to see may shock you. Get a load of this. This absolute abomination. This is the advanced integrator. Bask in its cursed glory. That gross flesh thing over there is the big brother of these little guys. And like the regular integrator, this thing functions more or less the same. You can place a pedestal down and enlighten items. It even has data. This one goes up to 16, but it doesn't fully go up to 16 until we hatch it. It caps at 8, just like the others. If you listen carefully, you can hear it breathing. Listen to this. I don't know about you, but that is very eerie. So to actually activate its full potential, you need something called a pylon. Pretty simple to make. The only new item I don't recognize is this, the flywheel, which is a combination of gold and iron. Alright, so we'll need iron bars, control unit, steel component, block of iron, and a flywheel. There it is. One beautiful pylon. Okay, we are back to our beautiful growth here. And as you can see, it is maxed out at 8. But all we have to do is attach the motor, and then with the motor we will attach the pylon, which should be spinning. Not sure why it's not. There we go. Pylon is alive and well. And this, not accumulating more data. Does it have to be closer? Or maybe the pylon's just not spinning fast enough. Let's cut one of these engines here. Oh, jeez. Okay, it turned purple. That's got to be a good sign. We got some whirring noises. Let's check on our growth here. Definitely moving up now. 8.2. Guess we'll just leave it alone with its little buddy. Okay, it's been a while. This thing should be done by now. 10 gigabytes. I don't even know if GEB stands for gigabytes, but doesn't matter. Let's enlighten this thing. Here we go. Oh my god, that's a noise. Jeez, that was loud. There it is, the divine organ. Alright, it's time to make the charnel pump. Divine organ, these meat steel blocks, a motorized breaker, and the hydraulic press. Oh my god, that's a big item. Jeez, wait, let me pick this up and drop this somewhere. Oh my god. Look at the size of the charnel pump. This thing is massive! And we haven't even placed it yet. Oh my god, this is gonna leave a footprint. Jeez! Okay, I take it back what I said earlier. This is the biggest machine we've ever made. Wow, and we're not even done setting it up yet. But just in case you forgot, with this, we'll be able to pump resources out of the ground. We're going to shoot down Ichor, and once it breaks through the ground and cracks through all that rock, everything is going to be brought up to the surface. Diamonds, gold, whatever's underneath. All thanks to this. To make this work, we'll need 2 of these blocks. These are fluid input ports. You gotta place them directly next to the charnel pump. Now, they basically suck in liquids. This one's gonna suck in the compressed air, you know, this bucket that we made over there with the compressor. And this one is gonna suck in integration fluid. It needs both of them to function. We also need your typical motor port. This is where we're going to connect the motor so that it can receive power. And lastly, another machine controller which for some reason is bleeding. Don't really know what's going on here. Why is this thing oozing goo? The machine has health, and I guess the health is at 90%, and that is causing machine sludge. Don't really know if that's something we want. This one seems to be fine. Can we scoop this? No, we can't. I didn't even know this was a thing. Look, it's bleeding even more. Oh my god! It has like sores on the side. This is completely unexpected. I kind of feel bad for it, to be honest, because this thing is alive. Let's shut it off. There you go. All better. Okay, so yeah, and it needs one of these as well. The machine controller. Plus a buffer, otherwise you're going to get one of those disgusting worms that spawn. So here it is. Charnel pump. We have 4 functional components. All we have to do is give it power and the compressed air and the integration fluid. Well, I can't think of a more ideal place to mine than right here in our very own backyard. Hopefully we don't get complaints from the villagers. 2 fluid input ports, a motor port, the buffer, and the machine controller. It's connected to some power. All we have to do is add the motor. Perfect. Actually, no. Needs a little more juice. Alright, this thing is ready to go. We have our integration fluid in here. We have our gas tank ready to go. All we have to do is take the pump and inject the compressed oxygen into the fluid import. Just like so. So we know it's going to jet water into the ground. Ores are going to come out. But where are they going to come out from? Well, when you activate this, blocks called Writhing Earth are going to start appearing on the ground. There are these red fleshy blocks. And that's where the ore is going to spew out from. But you have to attach something to these blocks. Specifically, you have to attach the wellhead. Now, these wellheads are incredibly expensive to make, so hopefully we'll make up for our losses with this pump, because we seriously need resources. Let's give this some power. So after a little troubleshooting, I discovered that that thing needs like 500 power, so we're going to have to break some motors. Okay, this should get it running now. It's just a power shortage is all. And... well, that's more like it. There's the integration fluid. It's going to pump it into the ground. Oh my god, am I getting nauseous from the fumes? Did you guys see that? Whoa, 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 what is this? Oh, I can't get too close. So now we have to keep an eye out for the Writhing Earth. It should appear soon. So I'm walking around trying to find any sign of Writhing Earth so that we can start extracting resources, but all I'm finding is contaminated rubble. So I guess we are contaminating the planet by doing this, which is unfortunate. Is this? No, it's more contaminated rubble. Where is the Writhing Earth? What a ripoff. It's not even in the water. Oh, there it is. It's over here. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about, a Writhing Earth spout. So all we have to do is place the wellhead right here, and as you can see, we just got some emeralds. Wow, that was fast. Best way to collect this. You put a chest here, ooh, more stuff, and it'll input it into the chest. Let's go get some. Oh my god, there's a ton of stuff. And we are missing out. So we have some copper, some iron, some, is that quartz? And silver. Not bad. We have to find the other pockets of Writhing Earth, though I bet there are more. Are there any new pockets? I don't see any. Maybe it's just the one and we're getting greedy. Okay, so this thing is still going non-stop, and I'm pretty impressed with how, I guess, efficient it is. Over here, let's take a look at the chest that's right next to the wellhead. The wellhead is bringing up the resources and putting them into the chest. As you can see, we have quite the collection of items here. Some gold, plenty of iron, plenty of copper. We even got a couple of diamonds and some emeralds. And plus all of the other modded ores from the mod pack, which we didn't use, but that's an option too if you're looking for them. NEEPMeat is an amazing way to get around mining, but you do have to do a lot of mining to get here anyways. As you can see, we are already running low on integration fluid, which is just fine. It uses 333 millibuckets for every pump. And once it runs out, it's over until you supply some more. Now, I'm not sure if this thing is going to make more writhing earth. I have noticed that we have these little pockets of contamination here, but aside from that, there's only been one spout of writhing earth, which I guess is standard? I don't know. If there is a second spout of writhing earth, I haven't been able to find it. And this is what was underneath. We have some writhing stone. Not really the same as writhing earth, or is it? Now I'm not so sure. No, this one is visibly redder. Yeah, I guess writhing stone is different, but yeah, interesting remnants left behind. We have tons of contamination down here. Wonder how deep it goes. Oh, it goes very deep. Wow. As for our machine, this thing, it took quite a beating. Lots of machine sludge coming out from the sides, almost like it's a living thing. Well, I guess it is. That's unfortunate. But yeah, this is the Charnel pump. Glad I was able to demonstrate that for you. Now, this isn't as much ore as I would have liked. Honestly, I think if this wasn't a mod pack and we excluded, like, the Infurium and the zinc from the Create mod and the silver from Tech Reborn, if we kept it strictly vanilla ores, like the copper, gold, and iron, I think we would have seen a lot more. So, yeah, that wasn't really what I wanted, but still good. Well, it seems like we're approaching the end of our 100 days, but there are still a couple more things I want to do. Little things. For starters, weapons. I think it's safe to say that we haven't successfully weaponized meat items yet. Sure, the energy staff is okay, but it doesn't really pack a punch. Thankfully, there are other options. The first thing we'll have to do is craft the base item for these weapons, the meat gun pistol. It's a simple crafting recipe, but necessary. And now that we have this, we basically have half a gun. Doesn't really do anything. Well, actually it may, but I'm not going to craft ammunition for it just yet, because we can attach things to it. Lots of things. Similar to the meat gun staff, which we can apply to the table and modify by applying and taking off pieces. The meat gun pistol operates in the exact same fashion, although this one only has one item slot. The question is, what do we want to fill the item slot with? Well, there are a few options, and each attachment has a different ability. Let's start with the regular pistol attachment. First, we'll have to craft an iron barrel, and then you put 2 iron ingots next to it, and you have a meat gun pistol. All we have to do is take this, put it in the pistol base, and with that, we have a weapon. Oh, look at it. I love that you have the option to swivel around. Alright, so this thing doesn't fire anything, obviously. You need some type of ammunition, but it looks pretty cool. If you look at the pistol's information, you'll see that it takes ballistic ammo, which we can easily craft with a meat steel component, 3 meat scraps, and a meat steel ingot. Alright, one last assembly, and here goes the last one. There it is. A large ballistic magazine, which we can load by simply right-clicking the meat gun pistol. And there we go. Let's give it a try. That works pretty well. Probably the weakest of all the meat gun weapons, but it's the easiest to make, so you have that option. We'll test it on this guy. Not bad at all. But we're not done yet. Let's go ahead and remove the pistol module and add something else. We want to add something with a little more kick, and boy, do we have a lot of options. How about we make a grenade launcher? For that, we'll have to craft this piece of steak. Well, that's not actually what it's called, but it looks like a steak. We just have to combine these two together, and then inject it with some integration fluid. And there it is, a piece of steak, or a contractile actuator. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. We're taking it. 1 steak, 2 iron barrels, 2 iron nuggets, and 2 meat steel ingots. Take the attachment, apply it to the meat gun base, and now we have this, a meat gun pistol with a grenade launcher. Let's go see how this works. I don't want to test it on the cows anymore. Oh my god, I didn't mean to do that. As I was saying, I don't want to test it on the cows anymore because we may need them for the future. Spider, perfect. So So we'll just fire that, and it's a little tricky. Oh, wait, no, it's not. They explode on impact. That's so much fun. Guess this is better than I thought it'd be. Plus it uses a little more ammo, so there is a cost to your fun. Let's try it on this sheep. Stay still. Oh my god, that's powerful. We only have one bullet left. It's not going to work. We need more ammunition. But that was the grenade launcher. Next, we're going to go ahead and make something called a bosher, and I'm pretty sure that's basically the NEEPMeat equivalent of a shotgun. A component, meat steel, a barrel, and another one of these stakes. There it is. That teeny tiny thing. Wow, that is not what I was expecting. Alright, let's swap this out for the bosher. Oh, there we go. Nice. And then because it's dark out, it is the perfect opportunity to test these weapons. But first, let's make some whisper bread. We want to be able to see after all. And I can't eat because I'm not hungry. Darn. Oh well. We're going in blind. No, we're not. Taking a torch. Alright, we're reloaded. Let's see what we can find out here. Hopefully something strong. Maybe a couple of zombies. Oh, there we are. Oh, that is amazing. That thing took out almost the entirety of the zombie's health. Wow. Okay, let's see if we can find a group, because I think this is a shotgun, so maybe we can attack multiple at a time. Anything but skeletons. Fine, maybe one skeleton. Well, it's not as effective against you, I guess, because you're bone? What about with armor? That's more like it. That thing is... Oh my god. This is so much fun. But the skeletons are fighting back. Oh my god, it's a phantom. Gotta eat, gotta heal. Come here. This is perfect. Okay, we're in a corner right now. I think there's a skeleton with an enchanted bow. Yeah, that bow is enchanted. Those are flame arrows. Where is he? Oh, he's right there. Darn! And now we have your bow. Anyway, it's safe to say that this weapon was a success. The only problem is that you go through ammunition really quickly. Thankfully, there's a solution for that too. We're gonna make something called a blood bullet converter. And the blood bullet converter is almost exactly as it sounds. It is a bullet made out of blood. Our blood. Essentially what this does, well, first of all, let's actually make it. You'll take a biomechanical component and combine it with a fluid buffer. Then all you have to do is inject it with Eldritch enzymes and a little bit of blood, because, you know, you can't have a blood bullet without blood. There we go. And there it is, the blood bullet. This is an implant, and it's gonna allow us to make bullets out of our own blood. Yeah. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is go back to the surgery platform. We'll place the implanter, usual process, and now, inside the implanter, we're going to take ourselves the blood bullet and put it in the implant slot. Then, it's basically the same, except this time, we're standing on the table. We'll right-click the implanter, swivel it over, and look who it is on camera. Look, it's me. All I have to do is get a little closer, and then all we do is press apply. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we finally modified our body. We have the ability to use our own blood as a weapon against the enemy. Now obviously, using your own blood comes at the cost of your own health, so make sure you have plenty of food or at least some type of healing. Let's find something to test this on. Okay, so I have some ammunition here. Let's go ahead and toss that aside because that's all bad. We're going to use only organic stuff. Let's fire the last few rounds and then we'll see if the blood implant actually works. Okay, now we're running on pure juice. Let's see how much damage this is going to deal to us. That's not that bad, to be honest. Hold on, let's try this again. This is actually pretty decent. Let's see how much we can fire until we start actually seriously taking damage. You know what? I take back what I said. This is nowhere near as dangerous as I thought it'd be. In fact, I actually encourage you to do this. Especially with this one. This meat gun pistol is great. Now, the blood bullet is just one of many implants. There are so many that do so many different things. You have the eyes, which permanently reveal the unseen, whatever that means. The power knees, which increase the step height. You have an extra mouth, which will automatically eat food for you. Spider legs that make you walk faster. There is no end in sight to what you can do to yourself with this implanter. Now, because I respect myself, I'm not going to do it. At least not yet. Not until we need to. Well, actually, the claws look pretty cool. Let's do those. A couple iron ingots, some meat steel. Now we have hand glaives. I hope they actually show on our hands. That would be so cool. Alright, let's give this a try. And I don't see anything on our hands. That's disappointing. I was hoping for a cool visual cue that we actually had claws, like, I don't know, Wolverine claws or something. Anyways, we're supposed to be able to deal more damage with just our fists, so let's go find a poor sheep or pig to punch. Alright, we have a volunteer. Just stand still for me. Okay, that's pretty cool. You know what? We've come this far. Why not take it a step further? This is the pipe climber. With it, we'll be able to climb pipes like ladders. So, I mean, I don't really know how this is going to benefit us. We don't have pipes running along the sides of walls aside from this thing, but hey, why not? It was cheap. Here we go. And I still don't see any difference. Can we climb pipes now? Yes, we can. Wait, what about like this? No, we have to be closer. Does it work with item pipes? Yes, it does. Okay, this is pretty interesting. This one is called a hexapod. Increases speed and gives smoother traversal over full blocks. Well, I guess that's the last one we'll try. Let's see what this does. Here we go. I think we got a little shorter. What is my shadow? What? I think we took it a little too far. And I don't know if there's a way we can actually reverse this. Well, I don't know about you, but I think this is a great spot to wrap up the video because, honestly, this is, the point of no return. We did a lot of stuff. Stuff like unethical cow farming, communicating with objects, and otherworldly entities alike. On top of that, we added new plant species, all of which were of the invasive variety. And we fed a big old belly. All from the comfort of our little trailer. Oh yeah, we made tons of flesh machines. Please don't forget to comment your favorite part down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And if you're not new, please leave a hype. That way I can keep making more videos. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. This has been Doublesal. Thanks for watching.